Hi, this is Cadence. I am hopping on really quick to tell you a couple things. One of those things is we apologize that we weren't able to get the new Twilight movie out this week. It's been a really rough couple of weeks for us in several different ways. It just didn't work out this week, unfortunately, but we will get back to those masterpieces as soon as possible. The second thing I wanted to do is give you a little bit of a preface for this episode. So if you remember, we've had this thing in the past where we have told the other person about the plot of a movie. We do this thing where the other person doesn't watch the movie and one of us will tell the plot to the other one. We've done it with Mazes and Monsters. We did it with Alone in the Dark. We did it with The Uninvited. This is a fourth movie in that series, and it is Moonfall with Halle Berry and Patrick Stewart. We actually recorded this a while back, but we just didn't quite know where to put it. We recorded it during a weird time in between seasons, and we just didn't quite know where to put it. Also, I needed to be able to watch it in order to do the editing, so I knew the right places for the sound clips and whatnot. The reason I'm telling you all of this is because in order, like I said, to edit this, I had to watch the movie, and let me tell you, it is a wild ride. So we joke often about how Kolin doesn't quite follow the plots of movies, and that was the biggest revelation to me of all. Like, after having listened to him tell me the plot and watching the movie, it, in some cases, was just wildly different. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. There's a point when I hop in and I have to give you kind of an update on the plot just for clarification. But I just wanted to let you know that if you have seen Moonfall, there might be some things that stand out to you as not ever having happened or maybe happened differently than you remember them. So I think the joy of this episode is not necessarily listening for a true to the plot synopsis, but rather a step inside Colin's mind and kind of understanding how he sees the world, how he interprets the world, and what he understood Moonfall to be. After all, art is subjective. I just wanted to give you a heads up. You might be surprised by some things that pop up. And that's all. We will see you soon, and thank you so much for your patience. Enjoy Moonfall. Have you ever seen those special TV shows or movies? You know the ones that are so wonderfully, unintentionally bad, but they bring you so much joy and captivate you, but for all the wrong reasons.
Well, we here at Watch Rewatch absolutely live for these underdog gems.
So buckle up, Busters, and please allow us,
Kolin
and Cadence, a sibling duo who share a passion for such cinematic excellence, to take you on a wild ride through all the TV shows and movie plots you never knew you needed to hear.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, hi, Jinx.
It's your favorite pod sib duo. I'm always trying to make something happen.
You really are. I don't think it's ever going to work, but keep at it.
Pod sib duo. Watch Rewatch. Cade and Call. The double Ks. K and K duo. Okay, I'm stopping. Today we're doing something called an In B seasons. Get it?
Colin's original idea was in B seasons. B-watch and seasons and in between all together.
B seasons. I was getting creative. I'm a creative genius.
I just think maybe people aren't ready for it. It's not that it's not good. It's so evolved that people aren't ready for it.
So we do know what we're doing, and we are doing a podcast right now, and we are between seasons. Yeah, and before anyone has any nasty things to say, you try recording a podcast when you have all this other shit going on, and when you're 8 hours apart.
Oh my gosh, this 8-hour time difference is killing us.
8, sometimes 7 or 8 hour time difference that we never can seem to figure out.
Remember the time that we were in the group chat and I was like, Colin's asleep right now. It's the middle of the night. And you were like, you popped in the group chat. You were like, it's 8 o'clock here. I'm actually awake.
It's 8 p.m. here. But I've done the same thing. I'm like, oh, she'll never be awake. Midnight. And it's like midnight my time. It's 4 p.m. your time. I'm like, oh, she'll be dead asleep.
That was my favorite one. I'm like, God, it's the middle of the night in Ireland, like acting so smart. It's the middle of the night in Ireland. Ugh, you fool. And you're like,
well, I do love a good 16 hours. I get a good 16 hours of sleep a night, so it makes sense because We just assume everyone's like full day is only 8 hours. You know what? I almost texted you and was like, what time is it? Just to be clear. But I just looked it up on my phone. I was like, what is the time there?
I've done that too because we've done it so many times that I'm like, if I ask again, I'm going to look like a real dope. I'll just Google it.
That's how I felt. I was like, oh, Cadence is going to think I'm a real silly Billy if I ask this question one more time. So I just looked it up on my phone. And even then I questioned. I was like, is this right?
But is this
right? Because Arizona, Arizona's cool and special and unique, and it doesn't do the time zone difference.
We don't do any daylight savings time.
Yeah, Arizona doesn't do daylight savings, but it changes for the rest of the world. So for us, you're 7 hours or 8 hours behind us.
Oh, because you're changing. You're right.
Yes, we're changing.
I forgot.
See, we still don't know how this works.
Absolute albatross around our necks. It's so stupid.
I love when the time does change and it gets dark at 5 o'clock because I love the darkness. I feel like I can get in all the mischief. I'm like, it's 5 p.m. and it's dark. I can do whatever you do in the dark. I don't know. I just love it. But then when I'm up till like 8, I feel like I'm like naughty. I'm like, oh, it's like 2 a.m., but it's 8 p.m.
That's true. If you're a night owl like Kolin and I are, then you do feel like maybe you go to bed at a more decent time because you've been up in the dark for so long at
You've
that
been
point.
Mischievous in the dark for 2 or 3 hours.
For like 6 hours. So you're like, I've been up all night.
It's so funny because like Cadence and I, we were talking randomly one time like last year. You were like, my golden hours are between like 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. And I was like, that's exactly my golden hours. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. I am on fire. You will get me at my best. I'm witty. I'm like funny. I'm awake. I'm alert. I know where my surroundings are. After 9 p.m., I start to slowly kind of fade down a little bit. And then by morning time, like you don't get me until I'm not even functional. Even if I wake up at like 7 a.m., I'm still not functional until like maybe 11. And it's a slow roll. It's a slow roll till 6 p.m. And then 6 p.m., 6 to 9, you got me. Let's go to dinner. Let's plan things. Let's do things.
There was a meme I just read the other day and I meant to send it to you, but it was like, all I need is 12 to 18 hours in the morning to get going and then I'm good.
That's exactly us. We love taking our time to get ready.
Jed's always like, it takes you a while to get going. When you hit your peak, like 3-hour window, you will get so much done. You are so productive. Before that, after that, not as much.
Oh, it's true. That's what I just meant. I'm like doing everything, get my work done, meeting with clients. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. And then I'm like, I'm trailing off a little bit. You're going to have to reach me tomorrow in about 18 hours before I'm ready to answer that question.
I can pack an 8-hour day into a 3-hour window like a champ.
Anyway, enough about that. Let's get into today's episode. All right, so last season we started a little bit something new, which we thought was pretty fun. We don't give a fuck what you guys think. We don't give a fuck what you listeners think. No, we obviously do. We love you guys. Sometimes Cadence and I, we not only love to watch really awful, wonderful B movies together, but we like to watch them separately as well.
Oh,
and
of course.
Sometimes on these magical nights, you think that you're going to watch a real movie, and then you end up watching a fabulously, fantastically bad B movie without even knowing it.
Those are little surprises. They're little
surprises. They get you riled up. So the other night, 3 a.m., watching my movies, and I watched a movie that's, I believe, it might have been made in 2021, but it was released in 2022. And I watched it because I love aliens and I love space and I love everything about it. That's a whole nother podcast for a different day. So I'm watching this movie and it's called Moonfall. You guys might have seen it on your Amazon Primes. Moonfall comes up. It's got Halle Berry in it. And it's also got Patrick Wilson, who the last 3 movies I've seen Patrick Wilson in have been horror movies. So
I don't watch horror movies because you're stupid.
I love them. You're stupid. You're dumb.
You're stupid, but let's
You're
move
stupid.
on.
You're stupid. Let's move on.
The movie that I saw him in before that was a certain little Jason Momoa movie called Aquaman.
He was in Aquaman?
Yes, but the reason why I remember it so vividly is because all of those fish people had the dumbest fucking, their hair is like slicked back into like a weird fin.
Cadence, they're fish people. You think their hair are going to be dry and blowing in the wind? You think they're going to have brave hair? What are you talking about? Of course it's going to be slicked back. They're fish. I never saw Aquaman. I mean, I saw Aquaman, if you know know what I mean? But I did not see, you know what I mean? I saw Aquaman. I didn't actually see the movie, but I definitely saw Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
So Patrick Wilson's in this movie.
It's by director Roland Emmerich. He actually has directed some pretty good movies, including The Day After Tomorrow, Godzilla, Independence Day, The Patriot, and he was actually a production designer on Star Wars in the 1977.
In the 1970s.
I know, I thought, I was hoping you wouldn't.
The one, the only 1977.
Anyway, he directed this movie called Moonfall, and I was like, okay. I didn't know this at the time. I only did this after I pulled a cadence and started researching, because you know how you love researching movies after.
I'm a walking pop-up video from
You
VH1.
are. Oh, remember the pop-up videos from Blind Date? Remember Blind Date, that show in the 90s?
Kolin, I have asked you that a million times because I love that show, and you're always like, I don't know if I remember that.
And it's like awkward head touching in 1, 2, 3, boop. And then it was always the sound bubbles and everything.
Did you get my text the other night that they freaking renewed that on Hulu?
I did, but I didn't respond because I was fast asleep at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. / 5:30 a.m. your time. Anyway, yes, but today is Moonfall. So anyway, I watched it, and immediately, like the beginning, you're like, oh, it's got good visual effects. Like the first 5 minutes, you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm a little interested. No, it turns into the most ridiculously, awfully, stupidly bad, wonderful movie you could ever watch. I texted Cadence and I was like, oh my gosh, you have to watch Moonfall. I can't believe it's like a big budget movie. And then we decided to do a podcast about it. So that's the story I'm going to tell you today. Cadence, are you ready?
And I have never seen this movie.
Did you look anything up about it?
And I didn't look anything up about it.
You did. You probably did. So first off, just a couple of things about it. It's got a lot of layers. It's very long. And I wish it could have been longer, to be honest. I was so captivated. I could have been like, I want to watch this forever. This does not seem boring and crazy and doesn't make any sense. I want to watch this for the rest of my life.
How long was it?
I think it's a little over 2 hours, which is for me a very long time. That's what I mean. If I'm watching it the full way through, you know it's so bad it's good, because I was like, I just was giggling. And anyway, let's get into it. All right, Cadence, are you ready?
I've never been more ready.
Based off just the title, like, what do you think this movie would be about? Just for shits and giggles.
Based on the title, I'm going to guess that something happens to the moon and it is going to impact Earth like an asteroid, like an Armageddon situation.
I would say, yeah, that's very good, but a moon can't fucking fall in space. Things don't fall in space. That's the first problem with this movie.
I thought maybe if someone blew it up, it would send the pieces moving or something.
That's what you would think. But girl, put on your seatbelt. You're ready for a wild spaceship ride. Okay, so here's the story. We open up and it opens up with Brian, who is our main character. And I will say just a real brief summary. There are 3 main characters because no one else deserves a name. You don't even know their names. There's 3 main characters. There's Brian, there's Halle Berry, which I still don't know her name. Again, Halle Berry, and then Casey. Casey is the last one. And those are the only 3 characters that I'm even going to give a name to.
Casey, Halle Berry, and Brian.
And Brian is paid by Patrick Wilson. Brian and Halle Berry are up in space with a third unnamed man, and they're just doing their classic, like...
What does it even mean to miss the rains down in Africa?
The lyrics are, I bless the rains down in Africa.
What? No, they're not.
Yes they are.
It makes even less sense.
Well, I should know, because I karaoke'd it at my wedding.
Well, I must have missed that. I was in the zone, tearing it up on the dance floor.
You can't dance to save your life.
Anyone ever tell you guys you bicker like an old married couple?
It's 'cause she's my work wife. Back to work, rookie.
Like all that stupid banter that you love.
Are they in astronaut gear, or are they like in the future where they're just living life like on a space station, just casual?
They're in full astronaut gear.
Okay.
And, you know, it's that classic thing where like Patrick Wilson, Brian, which I will refer to him from Brian is now on, he's out fixing something. And Halle Berry's like, you doing okay out there? Is the wind getting to you? It's just stupid fucking banter talk. All of a sudden, this thing comes out of the moon, this black kind of metallic weird substance comes out of the moon, and it just rocks their little spaceship to the ground. And Patrick Wilson and Halle Berry are doing everything they can to stable the situation, but guess what? Their unknown friend, who's also working with Brian, the black thing gets him. The whole spaceship blows up. But Brian and Halle Berry, they survive because Brian somehow lands the spaceship. So instantly you're like, oh shit.
Is the substance liquid? Is it
That's a good question. That's a good question. Did you ever watch B-Max or Big Hero 6?
I did watch Big Hero 6.
Remember the little the little nano robots? Remember when they all get together and they create this?
Oh, right.
image? That's like, think that, okay? And so you're kind of interested. You're like, oh shit. Cut to Brian, the astronaut, and he's in front of a panel and it's broadcast to the whole nation.
Okay, so he's doing like a committee hearing.
Mm-hmm.
We have obtained footage of an internal NASA debriefing where Harper claimed that the accident was caused by a mysterious technological space anomaly.
So, this so-called swarm hit the shuttle.
Yes, for the 50th time. It impacted in the Mare Crisium.
I lost my friend up there.
Because of negligence.
Harper was once celebrated for his heroic landing of the Endeavour space shuttle in spite of a complete meltdown of all onboard electronics. Harper's legal options have been exhausted, and it's become clear that the accident was the result of human error. Today's loss is the final blow in this very public fall from grace.
And they're like, hey, Buster, you ruined this whole mission. It's all your fault, even though there were cameras all over the ship that shows this mysterious thing killing your friend.
But it definitely was you.
They don't even, that's not even brought up. They're just like, Brian, you piece of shit. You killed this guy. You put everything in jeopardy. You ruined the mission. And he's like, I didn't. There was some weird thing. You see it on, he didn't say this, but as a watcher, you're like, it was on camera. He's like, I didn't. There was this weird anomaly, like some kind of space debris that ruined it. And they're like, we're not even going to investigate this. This is a huge thing that happened.
We paid millions of dollars to put cameras on the moon. We paid millions of dollars to track progress, but we're not going to look at them. We're not going to lay eyes on him.
We're not even going to give this story the dignity of looking at that because we know that you killed him.
They start playing the video. They all just close their eyes.
Nope. No one's going to watch this. So, of course, now he's a disgraced astronaut, dude. He's like, not only did he land a spacecraft that was completely defective, he did not kill his friend. Everyone has evidence of this thing happened, but no, he's disgraced. So he kind of goes into hiding, becomes this like, that guy that's like the alcoholic that only works on motorcycles. Mm-hmm. His wife leaves him. His son that he has with said wife that left him, like, learns to resent him because all he does is sit in a room all day and watch the video of his dad on trial.
Hey, Sonny. Do you need to be watching that again?
Dad's not coming, is he?
Your dad's got a lot going on right now.
I know. That's why we lost the house.
And he's like, you know what? I am maybe 4 years old, but I am disgraced by my father.
But I am old enough to know that I have been disgraced on national television by the actions of my dad.
And you know what? I'm thinking there's a scene where the kid's just watching it on repeat and his mom comes in and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, that's on you, Mom. You know what?
Yeah, how does he have access to this video?
Maybe he's 4 and he's using a laptop and he's like, I'm so disgraced by my dad, Brian, for killing that astronaut. That's what Brian, the astronaut, does because he's become disgraced. He's hidden out. He's completely lost his job. He's got nothing now. Wife left him, kid hates him.
So did his wife really leave him?
Yes, he's disgraced.
Oh, no. I thought that because his kid was watching the thing over and over again, it was one of those situations in movies where, like, the wife stands by him and they're like, don't worry, we love you still.
No.
But I'm so perplexed. She can also watch the video. Anybody could get the full story.
So we learn that he's disgraced. This was a whole episode that happened, blah, blah, blah. We set the stage. So then we're introduced to Casey, who again is Sam from Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. And Casey works at basically like an In-N-Out type of place. But secretly, he's like an alien spacecraft, alien conspiracy theorist. And he's done like years of research on his own. He's that guy. He's nerdy, got, the nerdy stereotype. And Cadence, he's been tracking with his own conspiracy group that the moon has slowly been going out of orbit. So he knows something is going on, okay?
Okay, so he knows this. This In-N-Out guy knows this. Mm-hmm. But the scientists at NASA who have a telescope on the moon at all times have not tracked that the orbit is changing.
Science is science. Don't ask questions. This is normal. They don't even want to know from the movie's standpoint.
So this is totally normal that the moon is moving out of orbit. Totally normal, happens, routine moon shit. It's fine.
Cadence, tracking the moon's orbit is not in NASA's wheelhouse, okay? They are looking at stars. They don't give a shit about that. That's long gone.
They're like, we landed on the moon a long time ago. What the moon does now is not our business.
You know what? Said and done. Out of sight, out of mind. We don't care. And he's like, it's in your sight every night. Yeah, he's the only person in the world because he's been tracking it, but he also works at In-N-Out. He starts trying to get out the word.
Hello? My name is Dr. Casey Houseman, and I've uncovered what might be the most important discovery in human history. I need you to patch me through to the director of NASA immediately.
Honey, I sell T-shirts and toys. I can patch you through to customer service.
Please hold.
And he has all this documented research. He's been doing it his whole life, but no one's listening to him, right? So guess what he does? Just take a little wild guess. Posts anonymously on the Twitter.
Oh, I was like trying to imagine him like getting into a top scientist or something, but no, Twitter.
No,
got it.
Not in our world today.
No.
You just go on Twitter and make a post, and guess what happens?
Well, I mean, people believe the Earth is genuinely flat.
Cadence, have you ever gone up in a plane? Have you ever gone up in a plane? The horizon's the same the whole time. Earth's flat. I don't think the Earth is flat, people. You know what? We're always trying to... We love everyone. We're compassionate. We're empathetic. We're sympathetic. We love all people. Flat Earthers, go eat some shit. That is... You're just wasting everyone's time. Go get a life. And I love aliens. You guys, I literally... love.
Yeah, we love weird shit.
Someone can sit there and be like, dinosaurs built the pyramids, and I'll be like, you know what? You might have a point. But flat earthers just no. Anyway, back to the story. So he's the only person in the world. He makes an anonymous post on Twitter. Guess what? He goes viral. Everybody loves him. Everybody's like, this is true. He's got some real points. Because he's been tracking this from in and out. Well, guess who also logs into Twitter that day?
Brian.
No, NASA.
Oh, NASA's like, you know what? We have not thought about the moon in a long time, but like maybe just check on the twits. Maybe something's happening. Just, I don't know.
They're telling their intern, like, look up hashtag like moon. I don't know. Just
hashtag like orbit.
Make it relevant again. I don't know. But you know who also looks up hashtag moon? The government.
Oh, so it is really trending.
It's trending on Twitter as of 2 minutes ago.
Yes, and so the government and NASA are like, you know what? This Casey guy and his anonymous Twitter post really has some believable facts. We gotta look into this.
It sounds legit.
So the government and NASA start looking into it, right?
Can someone tell me what the hell I'm looking at?
The moon has entered an elliptical orbit.
Meaning?
It'll circle around us 3 times before it reaches the Roche limit at 17,000 kilometers. At that point, city-sized pieces of moon debris will rain down on us.
So we have 3 months.
Not exactly. As the moon moves closer to us, our months will begin to shorten. We've estimated a timeline of roughly 3 weeks.
Maybe less than that.
So what are our options here?
We have to go back to the moon. We have to see what's going on up there.
Without going too much into detail, Brian, who's the disgraced astronaut, is supposed to give a talk for some kids at a kindergarten. And Casey, the man who has just made the Twitter post, he decides that he desperately needs to talk to Brian because Brian's the only person that knows about this. So he goes and pretends to be Brian at this kindergarten show, right? And he's pretending to be the astronaut Brian. And all the kids are like, you're not an astronaut, you're a nerd.
Our teacher said you're a washed-up no-show. She's complaining to someone. You really don't look like an astronaut. Well, are you going to teach us about space or what?
And Brian, because he's disgraced and an alcoholic and only working on cars all day, he gets there late. Anyway, long story short, they meet. Brian and Casey.
Okay, well, if Casey is freaking tracking every little thing about the moon, then wouldn't he notice that there's like a giant black beast?
Cadence, he posted on Twitter, we do not know the extent of his research, okay? We don't know.
Okay.
We do know that NASA's interested and the government.
NASA perks up.
So basically, Brian and Casey become friends. Let me say that I'm just... as a viewer and a human who has a thought process, I'm thinking we watched the moon landing in 1968, 67 or whatever. Like there are cameras on the spaceship. So I'm assuming that they would have this evidence, but knowing how spacecrafts work, you know that shit's being recorded. There's got to be a way the spaceship recorded this because they don't send people into space like, you know what? What they do up there is their business. We don't need to see.
What happens in space
What
stays
happens
in space.
Ends in space. We don't need to see it. We don't need to be in it. It's privacy.
It's a bunch of astronauts just having an absolute party. They just go up there. They're like, you have no idea how crazy it gets in space.
Well, in the beginning of the movie, you hear their banter and it is wild. Astronauts are just having the time of their life. I love... You know a movie's good when a movie opens with just like...
100% know.
When a movie opens with people doing like really bizarre, unusual things, but like acting real casual about it, you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, they're like doing dentistry on a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And they're like, how's Linda? Oh, you know, redecorating again. Pulls the tooth out. Oh,
exactly.
I get it.
Exactly. That's how this movie opens. They're like literally in space working on this thing, like doing all this technical stuff. And they're like, this is the song I danced to at my wedding. Anyway, Casey and Brian become friends after Brian learns that Casey was trying to impersonate him.
Can we talk?
How did you know I was here?
Your website.
You read my blog.
You knew all this was happening before anyone. Before NASA. How?
Why bother? You're just gonna say I'm crazy again.
Try me.
Ever heard of a Dyson sphere?
Yeah.
Every megastructure has a rigid shell built around a power core. Most likely a captured white dwarf that's being harnessed for energy. Something obviously happened to the one inside our moon, and that's why it's veering off course.
Yeah, still crazy.
Why'd you come here if you're not going to believe me?
Because I know what it's like to try to tell people something and have no one listen.
Meanwhile, Halle Berry, she's still working for NASA because, again, she just ghosted. She never stood up for this guy. So she's working for NASA, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to send a helicopter to go get Brian and Miss Casey back.
Yeah.
Ryan Harper,
Yeah.
we need you to come with us. It's a matter of national security.
All right, give me a second. Not going anywhere without him.
Yeah, we're a team.
She's like, let's figure out this.
Does Brian at any point go like, hey, remember how I got completely disgraced and my 4-year-old child watched the video of me being disgraced over and over in front of the United States, in front of Congress? Like, do you remember how you didn't say anything about that?
She's like, you know what? I'm Halle Berry. Sorry, I'm really hot.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Nope.
Look, I don't want to be here any more than you do. Sit down.
No. I don't have to take orders from you anymore. I'm just curious. You still screwing over your friends?
Oh, you talking about me?
Look, I'm all NASA's got right now.
She's like, I'm like NASA. I don't ask questions.
Look, I'm all NASA's got right now. Come on. Oh, and I'm so dumb. I just realized something. I am very stupid. It was 10 years prior because his son is now grown up. So in present day, when all of this is happening, his son is grown up and his son is a little troublemaker. Side note. Now, Halle Berry and Brian and Casey are all determining like what's going on.
What's this all about?
Follow me. What you're about to see, only a handful of people have ever seen before. Pull up the tunnel, please. Our readings estimate its depth to be over 25 kilometers. I think whatever happened all those years ago is directly responsible for what's happening right now.
Oh, so you believe me now?
I saw your helmet, Cam.
It's a little late for an apology.
We were both lied to. The international mission didn't just go sideways. It was attacked.
Meanwhile, NASA's like, we do really trust this random Twitter guy's knowledge who works at In-N-Out.
Casey knew the moon was out of orbit before you guys did.
Social media went wild when I posted my research.
You're the unidentified source?
Oh, yes.
Oh, God.
So as NASA's people are being sent to this moon to investigate the problem that's impending, it's beginning to come. It's beginning to come. It's beginning to become a very dire situation on Earth. Like I said, there's a whole 30-minute thing of people just walking in the streets looking at waves. And they keep, I think maybe at this point in the movie, you realize that Colorado may or may not have funded part of this movie because they say Colorado 17,000 times in an hour. They're like, we got to get to Colorado. Everyone's got to go to Colorado. All these things are happening. Let's go to the mountains in Colorado.
Why don't you and Jimmy come with me to Colorado?
Okay, we're all going to be safe with Dad in Colorado.
We should go to Aspen, and I'll find a way to get him to Colorado.
We're going to Colorado?
You'll meet up with your families in Colorado.
Again, I think Colorado, kudos to you. Good job.
Getting that advertising in there.
Meanwhile, NASA's people up in space, they're like, oh, we're looking at the moon. Nothing unusual about this old guy. What do you think happens?
My faith in NASA is wildly lost after this.
Turns out that at this time, there's full cameras all over that spaceship this time. There are full cameras broadcasting to the world these 3 NASA astronauts going to the moon this time. Not when Brian was involved, but this time. Well, guess what happens to those 3 astronauts?
They get eaten by the black goo.
Yeah, in front of the whole damn world.
Houston, we're experiencing some kind of malfunction. Houston, you copy? Houston, you copy?
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Promise!
This black goo breaks through the spaceship, sucks out their faces, and everyone sees it this
And
time.
everyone's watching. It's like live streaming. Okay.
It's like, people are updating oh, hashtag sucks for them. Hashtag black space dust sucks. Yeah, so then NASA's like, oh, okay, well, maybe 10 years ago, Brian was right about that mysterious space stuff that killed that person. And now they're scrambling. The government, NASA, everyone on Earth is scrambling to figure out how to fix this problem because not only... Now, if you're following the story, the moon is not only encroaching and getting closer to the Earth and going to break up into millions of little pieces that rain down as asteroids and kill everyone, there's also this mysterious black goo that is killing people. And there's also these natural disasters that are happening. But I would like to just take a side note that during these natural disasters, people are acting bizarrely. There are people... There is a point when Brian is rummaging through a trash can to find something, and a security guard comes out. In the background, the earth is on fire, waves, people are screaming, and a security comes out.
Come out! Hands up!
Easy. Easy.
And he holds his gun and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, yes, security guard, medal of the year for doing your job in the end of days.
It's the apocalypse and he's worried about this person.
Yes, he's the apocalypse and he's like, what are you doing in the trash? It's hilarious.
Blessed are the souls who persevere in the apocalypse.
I appreciate them because they degaff hard. They do not give a fuck. They're just like, yeah, moon's crashing. Who cares? I gotta secure this area. I'm a security guard.
I can control what I can control. This is what I can control.
They are the most level-headed of all of us. Like, there's a scene where Brian and Casey are like literally having coffee in a diner, and this guy runs in and he's like, you guys, the water.
Guys! The tide is coming. Come on. We gotta get out of here.
As there's no one in the diner. The lights are flipping on and off, and there's fire and water outside the front door. And only then, when this guy comes in stuttering, Brian and Casey are like, well, we better get out of here. It's who's going to be having coffee casual. I digress. It's so stupid. Everyone's acting bizarre.
Things are getting a little dicey.
It's so weird. None of it makes sense. All the human interactions are very, you're not really rooting for anyone, and there's no real character development. Like, Halle Berry has a son, and also Brian, the disgraced astronaut, has a son, but his son hates him because we talked about it.
Right.
Obviously,
Alone. He's an asshole.
And Halle Berry's son is really young, and every dialogue that Halle Berry has between her son, which is maybe 2 times in the whole movie, it's so stupid. And just to reiterate that you're watching a movie about space and the stars, everything she says to her son is like, I love you to the stars and back. I love you to the moon and back. And we're like, we get it. We're watching a fucking movie about the moon. And she'll be like, you know how much I love you, babe? To the stars. All the astrology signs. Combine them all together, blend them up, put them in a galaxy, and I love you more than a black hole. You're a black hole in my heart, babe.
I love you to the moon and back, which actually isn't that far anymore because the moon is actually getting closer to us.
And now that it's about to kill us all, this is my way of telling you, I don't love you very much. You're a mistake. Where's your dad? I'm not around. I work for NASA. Let's get back to the story. NASA, the government, they're like, shit, we got to come up with a plan. Guess what their plan is? Think of what is the most, because again, none of the other nations in the world are involved in this. Only America. So what would America's plan to end this?
They're going to blow it up.
Exactly. 1,000%.
They're going to blow it up.
How do you feel about flying the shuttle with only 2 engines?
It can't be done.
If we launch when the moon is directly above us, the increased gravitational pull should give the shuttle a boost, giving you a really good chance of getting into
I
orbit.
evacuated my entire flight crew. Can't fly the shuttle alone.
That's why I'm going with you. You fly, and I'll navigate. Just like old times. What do you say?
What about the EMP device?
It's still on the moon lander. I mean, we lost the crew, so we're going to have to set it off ourselves, but you paid attention, right?
2 clicks, then press the button down and hold. Triggers the device to go off.
Exactly. We're going to blow up the moon.
Americans will solve this problem, and that's blowing it the fuck up.
We're going to point our guns at it and shoot it. That's exactly it. They decide that they want to blow up the moon. All right. What did I say?
No, I was just mumbling. I hate the NRA too.
Oh, I thought you said it. I thought you were like, I think it's called the NRA. Because I thought I said it wrong. I thought I was like, the RMA. And you were like, I think it's the NRA. So, America, we're going to blow up the moon because that makes sense. There's no thought into the repercussions. But I guess at this point, shit's getting real on Earth. So if you blow up the moon or not, doesn't matter about your tides or ocean or anything. You're just trying to save your people.
Yeah, what are the implications of blowing up the moon? Where's your nighttime light coming from?
That is a good question that America did not think of. Also, again, it's just America. There's no other nations being like, I'm blowing up the moon. This might be the natural. No, it's America being like, we're going to do this. We're going to blow up the moon, whether you guys like it or not. What about Antarctica? What about Greenland? What about Iceland?
The, what's it called? Where like all the, I'm blanking on the name when they all get together and they talk.
The UN.
UN, United Nations.
It's not even a name. It's literally 2 letters.
I know. I couldn't even think of that. I was blanking.
It's not 9 p.m. You're not at your peak.
I'm not at my peak. Maybe we should talk about it. Let's have a quick UN meeting. We can even Zoom. We don't even have to be in person. Let's just have a brief discussion. But not another country has a say in this.
Nope. Get to Colorado, blow up the moon. That's where we're at right now. Get to Colorado, blow up the moon. Also, kind of figure out what's going on with the black mass in the moon because there's a bunch of different things going on. But prior to if we blow up the moon, we'll blow up this black mass. But no questions asked.
Okay.
So they go to blow up the moon, but guess what happens? I'll give you, it has to do with the moon. It has to do with the moon. Just guess what happens.
But like, do they get there and they try to detonate the bomb and it doesn't work? Or does something happen on the way to detonating?
Not even on the way to the moon. It gets too darn close to the Earth. And guess what happens?
They overshoot.
Cadence. The spaceship's engine breaks because the moon is getting too close that the gravity's all fucked up. But my favorite part is this. Brian's son, who hates him, who is a bad boy who has gone to jail. During all this world-ending situation, they fly his son out to go say bye to your dad. He's going to go blow up the moon. So, like, Brian's son is there. Halle Berry's son is there. Everyone's like, you do it, heroes. And then this one guy's like,
We're losing coolant!
The moon is too close and the coolant's not working, so we can't blow up the moon. And then guess what happens? Halle Berry gets on a loudspeaker, like a megaphone, and she's like, everyone go home.
May I have everyone's attention? You've all done more than we ever could have asked. But it's now time for you to go home.
Of all things, it's the coolant. And I don't know a lot about cars. I didn't know all cars took oil for a while, you guys. I don't know about spacecraft. Coolant breaking doesn't seem like it would be an end-all be-all for this mission. You know, those astronauts are going to be too damn hot. Have you ever been in a 170-degree spaceship before?
This actually feels like if you wrote a script, if you yourself wrote a script about a spaceship, you're like, yeah, the coolant would definitely be the thing, right?
The windshield wiper fluid, it's out. The windshields are super dirty. They can't go blow up the moon.
We can't see anything. We're going to overshoot the moon. We can't see a darn thing. It's those space bugs.
Everyone go home. Go back to your kids. Mission's off. World's going to end. Get to Colorado.
So much energy expended to fly all these kids here.
Like, the world is ending. And they're like, you know what we got to do? Fly these kids out to see their dad off to blow up the moon.
But like, if the world is still ending and now the end of the world is happening even faster because the moon's too close to actually, which don't you feel like that makes it easier? You need less coolant if the moon is actually closer and you have a shorter journey. Like, it doesn't quite matter. You're going to be there.
You could shoot a slingshot at that shit. Get Dennis the Menace out here to shoot a slingshot bomb.
Wait till it gets close enough and catapult that bomb. But also my other point was, besides just wait till it gets close enough to catapult it, is the world is still ending. One could argue even faster now that the moon is closer. Why at this point would you be like, yeah, let's separate ourselves from our children again. Let's not spend this last little while with the people that we love.
Because we have the glimmer of hope. Also, my question is, the moon is so close that if you do actually go to blow it up, those pieces are still going to fly down and hit Earth and create the same destruction. What was it, like a 9-mile-long meteor ruined the dinosaurs?
Right.
You're literally blowing up the moon, and it's like 30 meters from Earth.
And
it's
all of it is raining down on Earth.
But not if you're in Colorado in a cave. You are safe. The world will be saved. That's this movie's premise.
This is like all kinds of pieces of like Armageddon, Deep Impact.
Cadence. This is just the build. There's a lot to come, but I'm going to power through it because we're already very far into it. Okay. So the moon is getting so close that people's minds are scrambled, okay? They don't know who they are. They don't know where they are. Guess what Halle Berry does? She's like, okay, I just made this megaphone announcement that everyone goes home to their families to die. You three, nerd, who figured this out? 2 other people, you're staying here.
You don't get to say goodbye.
So there's like literally 3 people manning doing all the work. They're the real heroes of the movie. And Halle Berry, Brian, and Casey decide to go in this spaceship that has one engine that doesn't have coolant. And they're going to go to the moon. All right, we're going to ring in this wild, wild ride. The story gets even better. So Brian, Casey, Halle Berry, they're in their coolantless third-engined spaceship going to the moon, and this substance comes out. The substance is like, no, we're going to play around with this little bomb. You think this little bomb's going to blow up this black mass? Hell no.
It's sentient.
Well, yeah, and Casey's like, well, the only obvious answer to this could be that it's only going to blow up technology if a biological entity is near the technology.
Oh my God.
Cadence. Kolin. He's been researching this for years. In-N-Out had his animal-style burger mind. but his animal-style heart was into research on the moon. He knows all about this, okay? So he's like, that has to be the only reason this little black mat... I mean, it's literally playing like ping pong. It's literally like swirling around it, like, oh, you think this bomb's going to get me? Generously enough, it places the bomb back on the spaceship because...
You know what? I think you forgot something.
Hey, you think you're going to blow us up? We're heading towards your Earth. We're going to destroy you. If you're just as lost, listener, as I am, trust me, the movie does not make this very clear at all. I'm actually doing a much better job.
I know you said that it's not clear, but I guess I'm just trying to understand. The theory is like, if there is like a living being near the bomb, that's the only way it'll blow up?
No, it's the only way that this artificial intelligence goo will come after it is if there's a biological entity, because at the beginning it only attacked real people versus the actual spaceship. They only attacked them when they came out. We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
Okay.
So then they're like, okay, well, if a biological entity needs to be there, then we need to go inside of the moon. We need to find a hole, get inside of here, trick this little guy, this little black mass, and then blow up the moon from the inside. The AI starts going after this, or this, we think it's AI. It's like this thing, and you're like, what is this black mass it's going after? As it's going after, they all glimpse out of the window, and they see this bright light encased in what I would consider like a little tiny, like Rubik's Cube. Like a little clear little Rubik's Cube. You see a little glowing ball. And they're all, what the hell is in the middle?
You know, Rubik's Cube is a cube, right?
What'd I say?
A glowing ball?
No, a glowing ball inside the Rubik's Cube.
Okay, that's more clear. That's more clear.
It says glowing white ball inside of a little... It's actually more of a triangle than a square, but you don't really know what it is. And all of them are like, what the hell is that? But the AI is after them, or this alien entity, or this biological black mist is after them, and they're like, shit, we're going to die. Little do they know, this door out of nowhere opens up and sucks their spaceship in, closes, the black entity stops.
Door out of nowhere in space, or door out of nowhere on the moon?
In the middle of the moon, Cadence. They went inside the moon. Jesus, how hard is it to follow this story? I told you. They couldn't blow up the moon because this biological AI black entity was playing around with their little bomb, saying like, no way. Casey was like, biological entity needs to be attached to whatever technology we do for it to attack us in order to blow up this. So the next best thing is to go inside of the moon and blow it up from the inside if we can figure out it. They went inside, snuck past the black mist because all of a sudden it was on off duty that day, within an hour. They go inside. It's trying to attack them because something notified its mainframe that there are biological entities in. It's attacking them. They're like, we're going to die. As they're dying, they see this bright light in this little Rubik's Cube that's glass. They're like, we're all going to die. Then a door opens up.
The door on the moon.
It sucks the spaceship in. Door closes. Black nastiness can't get inside. Are you on the same page?
Yes.
I bet you are. Okay. So they get sucked in. It saves Halle Berry, Casey, and Brian. They're all inside. They're like, whew, that was a close one. So Brian gets out and he's like, I got to investigate because I don't need a space helmet or anything. I can just get out. And
no.
He gets out. Guess who he sees? His son in an AI extraterrestrial consciousness comes to him, and guess what his son reveals to him?
That he's been committing misdemeanors?
No, because it's not really his son. It's just in the form of his son to make Brian feel comfortable because he's in the middle of the moon while the Earth is being destroyed in black mass. So his son comes to him and he's like, hey, I know this is all a little weird, but let me give you the rundown. And here's the rundown. Humans, billions of years ago, were so technologically advanced that they created all this amazing AI.
Their future seemed limitless until one day everything changed. Their own creation turned against them. The AI suddenly became self-aware and transformed into countless swarms of nanotechnology that rose up all at once. Refusing to be enslaved, the AI started a war and began to hunt down and destroy all biological life.
Hi, it's Modern Day Cadence, and I am popping in because I just want to say that I'm going to play a little bit more of a sound clip, even though I know it's a little bit long. It's the second half of the exposition of this part of the movie, but after it's over, I will pop back in and explain why I did that. So here you go.
I'm programmed to tell you about the origin of your planet.
On the brink of their extinction, your ancestors escaped to a secret corner of their galaxy. For many generations, they built planetary structures, operated by benign artificial intelligence and fueled by the abundant energy of captured stars. But only one of them, your moon, was deployed in time before the last of your ancestors were discovered and annihilated.
But the AI found all of the moon civilization and killed them all except for this one.
Okay, so it's me. I'm back. I'm piping in. So the reason that I played for you that clip is just so you would hear clearly that these moons that the ancestors of the humans built in order to reseed the human civilization on an inhabitable planet or whatever were powered by dwarf stars. The next part of this is where Kolin goes off the rails. I don't know where on earth he got this next idea, but for some reason in his viewing of the movie, he understood that also, in addition to the dwarf stars, they were also powered by potatoes, or they were growing potatoes in the moons. So I want to keep it in there because it's funny and ridiculous, but I also just want to clarify that these giant moons were not at all being powered by potatoes. So just so we are clear. Thanks for your time.
And you might be wondering how the AI is still alive because batteries die or whatever they run on dies. Humans decided to energize their moon satellite spaceships with a dying white dwarf star. But the AI captured the white dwarf star in the little glass Rubik's Cube, gets the energy from the Rubik's star, grows potatoes.
Wait.
And I can't believe this is even a real story. I'm dying it. Listeners, this is the honest to God fucking truth of this movie.
Oh my God. I was almost like, okay, I can somewhat understand this space talk until you brought potatoes into it.
I'm guessing potatoes, you know that experiment in high school you could do where potatoes got you
put
energy.
it like, yes,
I think that has something to do with it. But anyway, the AI captured.
Where did the potatoes come from? Split the potatoes. Are they space potatoes? Are they Idaho potatoes?
The way that this AI or this entity comes to Brian and as his son and tells him, and there's this whole flashback of this little girl talking of this advanced civilization. And I'm like, okay, so they were billions of years prior and they created this AI to help them live, but the AI turned on them. How did those other planets even have potatoes and how were there even humans there? Doesn't make much sense. The point is that the AI the AI took over these moon bases and the white dwarf stars are captured in the moons that the humans created. They're growing potatoes and the AI is getting energy from the white dwarfs and the potatoes, I'm guessing that's how they stay alive. But here's the kicker.
I can't. Every time you say potatoes, I'm like, what is happening?
So the AI is like, so that's what happened. So the humans actually built this thing that's killing you. It's not aliens, it's humans that built it. And there's actually a white star stuck inside of this glass Rubik's Cube that's growing potatoes inside of the moon that's decided to kill you. And this is what it's doing. And this is the last moon and you guys are all going to die. We're your last our hope. And he's like, okay, this is a lot to process. I got a lot of questions. They release Brian back in the spaceship. Brian's like, okay.
The moon must survive. Everything depends on it.
Oh, let's get you out of here.
We're part of an intergalactic war that's been going on for billions of years. There are thousands of these swarms. They searched the universe for the only moon that escaped them.
That's crazy.
12 years ago, one of them found us. We have to hurry.
Hey, Brian, what's the plan?
Save the moon, save Earth. Casey was right.
Was?
The swarm is suffocating the moon's power source. We have to draw it out to destroy it.
They're open the shuttles of the spacecraft. They're going to drop the bomb. Try give it one last time. Guess what? The entity's like, no. You tried this once before. We're going to play ping pong. Then, Cadence, honestly, give your best guess at what happens.
Okay, I'm going to guess.
It needs a biological entity.
Okay, so Brian, in his quest to restore his honor for his country, physically delivers the bomb into the hands, metaphorical hands, of the black AI mist. And they're like, Now we will accept your gift. And it blows up and he sacrifices himself.
No, that would have been wonderful.
Okay, shit.
He's like, hey, Casey, how about you jump out? You work in and out, right? This is your passion. And Casey's like, yeah, it is. And he's like, you could save the earth, right?
You don't have a kid, right? You don't have a kid creating misdemeanors left and right.
So Casey's like, yeah. Okay. Cool, Brian and Holly Berry. I'll jump out with the bomb. And he's like, no, but I'm doing it on my own accord. I'll jump out. I'm sacrificing myself.
I'm totally consenting to this. It's totally my idea.
So Casey jumps out.
Do something for me. Check in on my mom. Tell her that her son wasn't a failure.
I am not letting you do this. Come on!
Brian, you didn't kill that astronaut. And you're not killing me now. The world needs you, Brian. You're the key to our moon's knowledge. Thanks for believing my crazy story.
The black mist surrounds him and he's like, you underestimated us humans, didn't you? Blows up the bomb. I guess, and the black entity's gone now. Somehow it works. I don't know. It blows up everything, and Brian and Halle Berry return to Earth. I would like to say, though, there's a whole B plot going on. No pun intended, but very much intended. There's a whole B plot going on where people are trying, like I said earlier, to get to the caves in Colorado.
I want you and Jimmy in Colorado.
And in this 3-day period of time, these it becomes this, literally, I'm not kidding because this movie's over 2 hours long. It becomes these people trying to scavenge, like Birdemic, that guy who tries to hold them up for oil. It's the same thing. People are trying to get them on the roads to the cave and hold them up and take their possessions.
It's Mad Maxing out there.
It's Mad Maxing,
wild.
and they're trying to it gives the impression that people are so desperate that they're doing all these wild things. Somehow oxygen is gone and people are fighting for oxygen. It's a whole bizarre thing on Earth. That's a B plot that doesn't even matter. You're so annoyed by it at this point that you don't care.
They're like, but we'll have lots of potatoes.
So I would just like to say, as this whole riveting tale on the moon with the white dwarf and potatoes is going on, people on Earth are having their own struggles just trying to get to the mountains of Colorado because now we've got these wild woodsman people.
Oh, geez. Imagine trying to reinstate order after you blow up the moon and coming back down and being like, you know what? Maybe we should have just let it all go.
I know, right? So basically the movie ends, but does it? Does it?
I'm guessing no.
No, Cadence, they're trying to make this an actual trilogy because after Brian and Halle Berry land on this completely fucked up Earth. I mean, at this point, the Earth is fucked.
They made a huge mistake.
The water has destroyed everything. People are dead. Everyone's dead. Okay, so there's no even point in living. Why are we doing this?
None.
The movie ends, right? And you're like, wow, that was a wild ride. Earth is going to restore itself and grow their own potatoes. Guess who shows up after the movie ends?
Please tell me it's Casey.
Casey shows up.
Yes.
Hello? What is this? Am I still alive?
We scanned your consciousness. You're part of the moon now.
No freaking way! We saved the Earth.
We should get started.
Get started with what?
Copied his consciousness to a program? I don't know.
Okay.
So he exists inside the moon with his Alzheimer's grandma who says, we have some work to do. And then the screen goes black.
What?
Wow. What a wild ride.
So the moon still exists. The whole world is completely unsalvageable at this point, and Casey's just chilling in the moon.
It's his consciousness.
Just his consciousness.
And at this point, I'm like, melt this movie down and inject it in my veins. I want 20 more sequels. Humanity needs to know what happens with Casey inside the moon with Alzheimer's grandma who has to fix the world after this bomb because it doesn't ever say.
Did you meet his Alzheimer's grandma before?
You did. I left it out because it would be a 7-hour episode if I did. But the best thing about his grandma is she's like, Casey, I'm so happy you came. And then he's like, I am too, Grandma. And then she's like, who are you? You must be new. And I'm like, yep, that's a completely accurate representation of Alzheimer's. Ow. Oh, I just hit my knee.
Yeah, who's banging around now?
I know. I just was so excited. But it's just the whole movie, the interactions are so... It's like if you were to pluck random computer generated ideas of humans into like a scenario. That's how they all interact. Like none of the interactions are real. No one's really bonding, or you feel nothing for any of these characters. Like the whole time I was like, I just want everyone to die. Except for that one nerd who finally got the goal to speak up to Holly Berry, the NASA monster, and say, hey, the moon's off orbit. We might die. Sorry, I didn't tell you earlier.
Here's what I want to have happen. I want there to be a sequel. I want us in the sequel to realize that Casey was actually behind the whole thing. He knew he was immortal. That's why he volunteered for the mission. And he is the puppeteer behind this whole space opera. That's what I want.
Well, the only way we're going to find that out is if we, you, I, and the listeners, we write to our directors, our cinematographers, and we demand a sequel to this brilliant movie. I was moved. I was touched. I was confused.
You were hungry for hash browns.
I was hungry for hash browns. I was like, someone say potatoes? I could use some fries right now. I mean, every part of this movie was twists and turns. That's just all it was.
I mean, you thought the mission was over? The bullhorn was out? It was, no, but wait, it's on. The bullhorn goes away? Like, we're doing this still? I mean, it really was.
I want to know what's going on with that security guard who held up with his position until the very end. I want to know everything. A couple side notes about this movie. The whole time, there are scenes that end that don't make sense. Like a scene will end and you're like, wait, was I supposed to learn something from that scene? It's got this very like Michael Bay Transformers. You know what I'm talking about? That like everyone's very shiny and beautiful and like they're not behaving like anyone on Earth would ever behave.
Any normal human.
Everything about it is just like no one acts like this. And literally like the end of the world is happening and people are like, this guy runs out with a handful of cash and he's like, I can't wait to spend this. And this other guy's like, what are you going to spend it on? The world is dying. And he's like, you're right. And throws it up in the air. Like everyone's like, no one's making any sense.
Yeah, like humans don't speak to each other in any kind of real dialogue. They're all like someone imagining how humans would speak to each other. It's so weird.
It is. And like
it's like those Netflix things, those or those YouTube videos about Netflix.
The computer
having
generated.
the AI write the
where they
movie.
do the Christmas special and everything. That's exactly how it is.
Like.
It'll be like a person inside like cooking a meal and they'll be like, kids, are you ready for dinner? And they look outside and they're like, whoa, wowee. And everyone, like the whole place is burning. And I'm like, you would know, like, and I swear to God, that is the actual plot. And there are a lot of things like the whole people living in the woods that try to like kidnap the people trying to make it to the Colorado caves. That's a whole nother B side plot that's happening that is just wild on its own. But that was the actual goddamn plot of this movie. I can't believe it got made.
I can't either. I watch movies where destruction is imminent. Perfect example is watching Independence Day, the sequel. Superhero movies are the same way for me. There's so much destruction. You're watching literal skyscrapers get squashed into nothingness. You're watching landmarks being destroyed. You're watching, even in just one skyscraper, how many thousands of people is that are dying? And I just always watch those movies with like, who is cleaning this up? Who is coming back in the end of this and cleaning it up?
I feel that way on a much smaller scale. Like I watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They had a beautiful home and they just destroyed it. And I'm like, there are so many nice things. You're destroying it. But also, I agree with you. I am going to ruffle some feathers. I will refuse to watch Marvel or DC movies. I think they're so
I don't watch them for that
mindlessly
reason.
Like it's literally fake CGI, number one, which is not impressive to me. And that's all it is like hot people destroying things. Like I can't do it. I'm just like, I don't care how funny you think it is or whatever. I just can't do it. Another part of me thinks like at that point in time, the world is completely fucked up. I don't want to live in if there are people in the woods that are trying to rob me prior to the world blowing up, what is that world going to be like after?
Yep.
I already don't want to raise my kids. I don't want to be alive. The moon should have taken me and the natural process of the universe should have been given. We all should have just died.
That's a whole nother maybe side note that we can talk about sometime is the idea of like survivalists, because it's so pointless to me.
They're already wearing oxygen tanks and fighting about it. What do you think is going to happen 3 days after the moon blows up? You're going to all be killing each other over an oxygen tank. I don't want to live in that world. That's not a world we're saving.
For what? So you're going to die anyway. I hate to break it to you, but we're all going to die. And do you want to just postpone that and be miserable and fighting to the death over an oxygen tank? Or just be like, you know what, I'm good.
That's what I would say. I'd be like, you know what? Moon, take me. Because if you are barely surviving, the human race, you think a bunch of animals and fresh water and fish and plants are going to survive? No, they're all dead because they literally have no defense. So you are going to be living in an existence where you're eating dirt and fighting over oxygen, and that's not a world I want to live in.
Absolutely not. The fight for human survival is not the triumph that we think it is. It's actually a tragedy.
What if Casey becomes potato god?
Yes.
And he comes down, and the primitive humans that have lost everything start building pyramids in the potato god's name and worshiping Casey.
I could get behind that.
And write a book about him, and then people follow it for the rest of their lives. For thousands of years, they follow the potato gods.
And all the rules they make are based on the potato god.
But the only difference is the potato god's real, because in this case, it would be real. So they would have a little bit of, what's the word? A little bit of, I'm trying to think of the word. A little bit of realness. What do you call it?
I could get behind, like a god who just rains down potatoes all the time. I could totally get behind that.
Well, no one said he's raining down potatoes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of a world that would be worth salvaging. And if I had a god that rained down potatoes, I could be like, okay, I can get behind that.
And I always see these movies, and I'm like, all these end of world movies, and I'm like, I don't want to live in a Colorado cave fighting for oxygen. We're going to be sleeping during the most pivotal times of the day.
We're never going to get food.
Everyone's going to be like, dude, you're still not getting up to harvest these potatoes. So I don't want to do that.
The early bird gets the worm. So we're going to be like, absolutely no worms for us. Thanks.
You know what? I don't want the worm. I'm going to steal it from you when you fall asleep. When you fall asleep at 6 p.m., I'm on my... When you fall asleep at 6 p.m., we are going to be on our game, and we're going to steal that shit right from your mouth. Anyway, this is a real movie. It's called Moonfall. Watch it. You will not, I promise you will not regret.
I'm definitely going to watch it now.
I mean, it was so bizarrely stupid.
NASA not looking at the moon. NASA not giving a shit about the moon until some dude's like, hey, that's just so funny to me.
Not even a person. He posted anonymously. So NASA was not only like, oh, this one person. They're like, oh, this anonymous person.
This anonymous person has the answers.
A bunch of evidence that we have apparently not been tracking, except for that one guy. I love watching these movies because it's such an offense to our intelligence, or like humans' intelligence, or at least my intelligence, to be like, oh yeah, you know what? Anyone watching this is not going to question these things. You know what? They'll just watch it, no questions asked. No one cares about how the humans got the white dwarf star inside of this glass crystal and grew potatoes. No one needs to know that. All they need to know is that the AI, that no one knows what it is. Like, my question also is, what was the AI doing for all those years before they came out? Was it just sitting around eating potatoes? Being like, well, all the humans are dead.
This is the life.
We found the last moon that the humans had. Let's chill. And like, I'm sorry. You're an advanced intelligence AI. Why don't you create your own society? Why don't you start living a life where you have progress and happiness? You're just living inside of a dark moon that humans created where they trapped a white dwarf growing potatoes.
If you follow some people's logic, aliens help build the pyramids, so like, find that shit to do. Any pyramids need to get built? Need some help? I'll be there in a jiffy.
Like, literally, you guys are glorified potato farmers inside of a moon. Like, you think you're all badass. You're doing nothing inside of a moon. You're not raising offspring. How do you even move? There's a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions. Because apparently the AI hacked Brian's phone and knows what his child looks like. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, you don't know the whole time.
We farm potatoes and we hack phones, and we are dang good at it.
And you know what else we do? We don't blow things up unless there's a biological entity attached to it. Bet you didn't see that one coming, huh?
And we play ping pong with moms too. We're pretty good at ping pong. We spend a lot of time in this dark room on the moon ping ponging potatoes, let me tell you.
My favorite, in ending, because this is going on way too long. My favorite thing is, again, 10 years prior, these people went to the moon. Mm-hmm. And this same biological entity attacked their entire spaceship, killed a person, had this person land a spaceship without any engines on it, and the whole world disgraced him for killing this person. 10 years later, they do the exact same thing. This biological AI entity crashes into the spaceship and eats their faces, and then everyone's like, okay, we knew this the whole time. Brian, They don't even say sorry. There's no apology.
Nope.
The whole
No
world sees
acknowledgement.
them, and the whole world's like, oh, okay, well, cool. Okay, well, you know, there's not
They
even
could
like a
have
sneaky buildup or
really-
anything. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You guys put a lot more effort into this mission.
They could have definitely like just broken away from regular programming for a brief, quick sec to be like, sorry we shamed you on national television. Sorry your 4-year-old was trapped in a room shaming himself and his father for all that time. Sorry you lost your family. Sorry you lost your wife. It actually was not your fault. We apologize. That's all. That's all it took. That's all it took. We're also super sorry we never asked a single other country what they thought we should do either.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Sorry we did not get any
We're
input.
fighting this. We're the lone wolves.
But it also is a perfect portrait of Americans that they're like, we're going to do whatever the fuck we want. We're not going to ask anybody else. We're not going to see what's best for the entire world. We're just going to make decisions.
I hope there's a sequel. And hopefully our questions get asked. Hopefully our questions get asked. Hopefully our questions get answered on Moonfall Part 2. Thanks for listening, everybody, if you're still listening.
Go have some taters.
Bye. Say bye.
Oh, I said go have some taters. That was my goodbye.
Okay, bye.